What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Welcome from another channel. Doesn't matter as long as you're here. My name is Travis. This is TWA Motorsports, and today we are going to be working on my Sierra pickup. Now, in the last video on this truck, you guys saw that we got it lowered. Obviously, it is setting low, and well, now it is time for paint. And we're going to be replacing a lot of stuff on this truck, but we need to get some stuff out of the way. Now, my painter, he's a busy guy, and I want to help him out as much as possible. The downside is it is 108 heat index today. I don't know why I get these days off to work on cars, but that's how it goes. And well, it's the only day I have to do it. So what we're going to be doing today, guys, is we are going to get the bumper out of the way. Obviously, he's going to need the bumper off to fix this dent here. And we're going to be replacing that bumper as well. But I'm going to leave the tail lights because I am going to drive it out to his house. I'm going to try to get the mirrors off. Well, I'm going to say try. I'm going to take the mirrors off. I'm going to get the antenna out of the way. We're going to get the wipers out of the way, and probably the front bumper and grille assembly. So it is also pretty windy, which kind of helps as far as keeping me cool, but chances are I'm going to be soaked in sweat by the end of this video. But let's do the bumper first. Now, the downside to taking the bumper off on these trucks is the way the bracketry is made. They don't have room to slide out. You actually have to loosen the bed and lift the bed up in the back in order to slide the bumper out. But we'll talk about that when we get underneath it. I may end up having to jack it up in order to get underneath in order to reach the bolts that I need, but hopefully we can slide underneath it. But I will show you guys anyway, but let's get started back here with the bumper. So since we left the hitch off, we have a little bit less. There's one bolt less that we have to take off, but the very first things we're going to take off here are there's a 15 millimeter up there, and then there's two 18 millimeters here. And once we get that out of the way, it should be pretty loose. And once we get that, then if you look through this hole right here, there's an 18 millimeter. That is the very back bed bolt, and there's holes in the frame in order to access the bed bolts. There's the next one. Now, generally you only have to take the back two out in order to just get the bed loose enough to pull this out. The problem is there's a ridge right here that the bumper bracket catches. Now, if you take the bumper off of the bracket, you can pull it out or pull this off without doing that. But these are generally rusty and just don't like to come out. And I'm going to be replacing the bracket as well. This bumper is bent up on that side, on the other side anyway. So let's knock these 18s out and then the 15 out, and we'll do that on both sides. We should be pretty loose at that point. And then I'm also going to pull the wiring loose from this junction back here. You'll see the one that goes to your rear lights. That is the one that you need to unplug. Unfortunately, guys, I do not have a tripod that will fit under this truck, so you're just going to have to see me pull it off from the outside here. Now that those bolts are out, we need to pull this junction off, and that goes to all the lights, your driver's or your license plate lights on the back. So once we have that loose, now we can go ahead and get these back 18s out here and right here, and then we should be able to lift the bed up enough to get the bumper out of the way. So I took those four rears out, and I actually had to go one more up here, and that is the one right in front of the tire here. Hopefully you guys can see that right there. Took those 6 out. So there's 2 left in the front, and now I have enough room. You can see I can lift the bed. May have to have somebody come out and help me lift the bed while I pull the bumper out. Well, as you can see, the bumper is now out of the way, and you can also see why it doesn't come straight out. You see how that's stepped up? That's what you had to pull that up. Some people notch this, but it doesn't take long. Now, I did go ahead and run all the bolts back in because, like I said, I am going to be driving it out there, and I don't want the bed to fall off. That would be terrible. But I think now that we've got this out of the way, we're going to go ahead and move to the mirrors. Now, the mirrors shouldn't be too bad. I've got my plastic pry tool here, and I'm trying to pry so I don't break any of the plastic clips. There's 3 of them, and you'll see once I get it off. Actually, there's only 2. So those two there, you're wanting to pry up here and here, and then it's got a channel that fits in below. Once we do that, we can pull out this, and those are just 10 millimeters. So we have 3 10 millimeters on each side that I'll go grab a 10 millimeter ratchet, and we'll whip those out pretty quick. You know, I said ratchet, but I forgot that I have this awesome tool. This impact is awesome. I used to do all this by hand, guys. Try not to drop those either, because otherwise you're gonna have to take the door panel off. Now, we got lucky and the mirror didn't fall off because there's this piece you press together. So I'm gonna press that. We'll press that together, and the mirror is out of the way. Now that we have the mirrors off, it is time to move on to the windshield wipers. Now, I'm going to repaint those as well because they are pretty worn out. But I went ahead and popped the cap off here. That is a 13 millimeter. And so we need to take that loose. And we also need to take the, obviously the line that goes into your washer fluid. I need to take that loose as well. Now, a lot of times these are going to be stuck, so you're going to have to wiggle it back and forth a little bit in order to get it loose. Now, a lot of times when you take these off, they don't want to come off. So what I do is I run the nut back on just a little bit and then just tap it a couple times. And generally, if you do that a couple times, it should come off at that point. Okay, good. We came off. And I already done that to the other side. So it should come off as well. Yeah. But just so you guys know, sometimes it doesn't want to come off immediately. Now that we have the windshield wipers out of the way, we're going to move on to the grill. Now the grill is going to require us to take a few of these clips out, and I have a special remover for these. I will go grab, get this plate out of the way, and then the grill kind of snaps together like Legos, so it's pretty easy to get out, but that will be our next step. This is the tool that I'm talking about that is meant to pull these out, and I will tell you guys, it is definitely worth buying a pair of them. They're relatively cheap. I'll list them in the description down below, but man, it makes quick work of it, and it doesn't tear these little plastic clips up. Our next step to get the grill out is there's a 10 millimeter here, and then there's these little turn pieces that turn and release on each side. There's not really a whole lot to that. Take this 10 millimeter out as soon as I get a 10 millimeter. If you look down below, there's actually 2 more of these turning pieces that you can access. You see that right through there, and we need to do that on both sides, and then the grill will be loose. Well, as you can see, it's starting to look really different now without the grill in place. The next step is we're going to try to take the bumper off. Now, the bumper is held on in a couple spots. We're probably going to have to move this piece out of the way because there's a bracket that goes, hopefully you guys can see it up in there, the bracket that goes inward, and then there's a couple pieces that go here. So I think we're going to start with these, and these look like they're just 15 or 18 millimeter. I'm gonna go ahead and knock those out real quick. Now the last thing I'm going to remove on the front of this thing is the tow hooks. We're never going to be using those. They look kind of ridiculous, so let's get them out of the way. It's just an 18 millimeter. I'm going to whip them out real quick with my impact. I don't know if you guys noticed on that first one, but there's actually a bolt on the bottom too, which is also an 18 millimeter. Well guys, I think that is all I'm going to be taking off. The truck is absolutely looking ridiculous, but look at all the stuff we got off. The tow hooks, the bumper, the grill. I'm gonna leave the lights in because if he gets paint on, it's no big deal. I'm going to be replacing those. We got the wipers off, we got the mirrors off, we got that panel, of course we had to take that off to get the grill out, and the mirrors, the emblem in the front, all the stuff that you see laying around in my yard, which I have to get cleaned up, guys. I don't want my neighbors to think this is a total junkyard. But the other two things I was going to take off were the door handles, but I think that we're going to leave those on for now, just because that's a huge hole to tape up if it were to rain tonight. I thought I was going to be taking it today. If I knew I was taking it today, I'd probably go ahead and pop those out. And that light on the top, because obviously he's going to need in there, but that's just 2 screws. Same with the tail lights back there, and I really don't care whether he gets paint on the headlights. They won't be in the way of him taping anything. So it looks like crap, but guys, that is part of it to get to the goal that we are wanting to get to, which is getting this thing painted. It is going to look absolutely amazing when we get it finished. We have a ton of aftermarket parts that are going to be going on that are going to make it look a lot better. It's going to look a lot cleaner. It's not going to have all these scrapes and bumps and bruises like it has right now. And it is kind of cooled off a little bit. Now I am still soaked in sweat. It is still 105 heat index, but the wind is kind of blowing, which kind of does help. If you like this video, guys, please smash that thumbs up button. Obviously, we have some more progress coming on this truck very soon. And if you want to catch up with some of the other videos, I will post a link at the end so you can see some of the other stuff that I've done to this truck so far. But guys, if you're not subscribed, go down, smash that subscribe button. While you're down there, make sure you ring that bell icon. That way you're notified every single time we drop a new video. And well, stay tuned to see what we do next.